Hi everyone, I hope you are having a great time. Today I would like to share my experience of using this newest release DMP-A10 from Eversolo. This one is featuring ESS 9039 Pro chip inside as well as AKM DSP chip. I believe it uses AKM 7739VQ chip in there, featuring Eversolo custom built oven temperature control crystal oscillator to give you best digital music listening experience with fully balanced preamplifier stage with R2R network and R2R volume controls, and build quality is incredible. I mean, precision built enclosure with oversized heatsink to control the temperature. Big step up from A8, right? Transformer and power filtering bank as well as main circuit board and all that. So those circuit boards and each session is physically isolated as well as electrically isolated to prevent any electrical interference. And USB input and output both isolated to prevent ground lift noise issues. So that is good addition. Front screen is totally shielded to prevent any type of noise at all. So underneath it, there's a little chest that you have to open it to add storage, so it can use up to 4 terabyte NVMe drives in there. So everything combined, overall build quality and features and functions totally reflect their asking price. Not only that, this DMP-A10 feature dual subwoofer out plus analog out and analog in to be able to fully function as a pre-DAC. And also it has ADC feature if you are using external connection with analog input to this DMP-A10. I tried with Sony HAP-Z1ES XLR cable connected to DMP-A10. So when I enable it, so there is ADC plus there is pure analog R2R functions that you can select in Eversolo app. I try back and forth, right? ADC and pure R2R analog function. I find it to be R2R analog function is more organic and more natural feeling. The ADC function is good. It has good preciseness and everything that it can produce is good, but not to the level of that analog section like organic feeling to it. That's the only personal preference. Some people may not even notice. So I end up only using R2R when I'm using analog input. Plus the analog input will automatically add 10 dB gain top of whatever the digital session gain that you had. If you go to source, then these are all the inputs and output selection. You can also choose subwoofer output from here. Right now it's at the off position. When I turn it on, then level control, right? This is where I was playing around, and you can choose mixer mode or stereo mode. And next one is output, whichever one you choose. You can choose analog out or digital out in here. So that is a good option there. And streaming services, as usual, all the major streaming services, as well as this setting menu. This is a setting menu that I have. So one thing that when I audition these components, I turn off EOS engine, and you can change screen brightness on the volume control as well, and you can select a bunch of different theme here. And please keep in mind that is R2R volume control, so whenever you turn it, it will make clicking sound. And all the settings you can play around here, screensaver, VU meter, and everything. If you want to change digital filter, you have to go to the output, then you will see this is a digital filter, 7 type of digital filters like most of the ESS DAC, and volume, balance, and all the things that you can change here. Another thing that I like is the UPnP function, like all Eversolo products. They play everything natively. And next one is let's try room correction. So let's try this. So this is play sound, and they will guide. So that kind of tuning that it will monitor and it will process where is the best place and positioning for the DSP tuning. And you can of course use DSP from here. That this is a configuration that you can change. Different configuration for different inputs that you can use. And next thing is fully featured remote control. Full metal chrome housing remote control. DMP-810 features 7 digital inputs, right? 2 coaxial, 2 optical, 1 ARC, and 1 USB input, plus Bluetooth digital inputs, as well as 3 digital outputs, USB, optical, and coaxial digital out, as well as featuring grounding point. And it has 3 analog inputs, 2 RCA and 1 XLR, 1 XLR and 1 RCA out with 2 subwoofer out, so they are in same bank as all the analog out session. So when I try with single sub, when I was watching Netflix or streaming movies with my streaming setup, I was using this DMP-810 as a pre-DAC, controlling with DSP and room correction, using one sub, watching movies, and it works great. Very simple control. All digital session work wonderfully. Out of the box sound, it can be slightly muffled, slightly congested feeling when I start using it, but over time, probably like I always leave it on, probably like 3-4 days after that it settled down. It gives you clean and precise sound signature with a little bit of richer side of neutral balance in overall sound signature of this DMP-810 is. I was using with TSA-20 from Guardian Audio, crossing over subwoofer at 65 Hz, fully controlled with this Eversolo DMP-810. So I was watching movie and all the scenes and bass effects and lower effects and everything works out great using ARC and optical. And then when I moved it here, when I try with my main amplifier, Accuphase E4000, XLR cable directly connected to it, and setting the gain on 0 on this DMP-810. I listen with the S1EX towers and this L100 Classic 75th. Refinement is there, precision is there, neutral tone with engaging sound of that rich side of neutral sound is very easy to listen and enjoy my music. Although I don't use any subwoofer for sound sample, time to time I use subwoofer when I want to test it out. So I have 2 12-inch subwoofer on both sides of my system, so I connected both of them to this DMP-810, controlling everything. So that is working great in terms of natural and organic feeling, bass quality. Subwoofer function is great with all digital session, right? No matter what digital input you use, it works great. But when I started using analog input from Sony HAP-Z1ES XLR cable connected to this DMP-810, because I want to test it out, the R2R preamplifier stage, pure analog to analog sound reproduction. Then subwoofer stopped working. I realized the subwoofer control and functionality and everything is part of the DSP system. In the analog session, that subwoofer will not function. If you change it to ADC in that section, you will get subwoofer back. But as soon as you change it to from ADC to pure analog R2R section, the selection, then the subwoofer will not be there. That's the one thing that I like to mention it to you if you are planning to use all analog stage. I think it's reasonable price for what we get. Very good sounding deck plus good quality preamplifier stage and state-of-the-art DSP in there using AKM chip. They have very reliable operation and firmware system that they feature on these components. Also, I really wanted to try SFP function, but I cannot try it because the SS1 Pro from Matrix Audio is SFP Plus. This DMP 810 is not SFP Plus compatible, so I cannot try that function, but I only use the Ethernet cable connection for internet from SS1 Pro for the streaming music. Mainly I listen to Amazon Music UHD and Spotify for background music when I'm working or doing something. The UPnP playback functions and everything is great. And I also try Internet Bay. I only have one extra SSD, so I only try one and it works great. So there is no weak point at all in this DMP 810 for the features and functions and everything that it can do, right? Except that the analog stage doesn't offer subwoofer out when using pure analog in and out. Other than that, everything working as it should. Sound quality wise, this one makes you think like, am I listening to ESS DAC? So that kind of sound quality. Almost to like a AKM 4499EX and 4191 combination kind of sound quality as well, because it has a richer side of neutral tone in overall sound quality, right? So musicality and sound signature of this unit, I have no complaint at all. Everything sounds just right with good stereo image and accurate sound all over the frequency range. Subwoofer control feature is big plus because a lot of these kind of components don't have that feature. I was comparing it to that almost $6,000 component with this. A10 is simply better built. Sound is always subjective, but build quality, isolation, and electrical isolation, physical isolation, not everything is built on one socket board, and even front screen is fully shielded. So everything combined, they just made it perfect component for the price point that they are offering. So another thing is, I don't like to attach those antennas. I don't use them. When I did that, the Wi-Fi signal is pretty weak. So I end up connecting to Ethernet port on the wall. If you're gonna use on Wi-Fi only, please be sure to attach all the antennas. So when I tried this DMP 810, driving this Music Share, the 300 BM, connected with RCA cable, it sounds gorgeous, like crazy good mid-range with very nice holographic sound and vocals and voices that it can offer. Even modern music such as Dua Lipa or Billie Eilish or Olivia Rodrigo sounded so beautifully with that combination. When I try AC/DC tracks or Led Zeppelin tracks, I was like, this is something I have to keep on listening, because the way that it can deliver is good neutral tone with precise notes in overall sound frequency range with good bass quality, right? Even without using the subwoofer, because usually I don't use subwoofer in most of my music listening. If you are thinking of buying $6,000-$7,000 streamer, deck, and pre, and all that one component can do a lot of stuff, please check this DMP 810 first before you make your decision. DMP 810 will give all those guys run for their money. That good, my friend. Highly recommend it. Thank you for watching and happy listening.
So great. On the bass, Mr. Toriboe Keisuke-san. On the guitar, Audemars Yorsuke-san. Yeah.